Welcome on into 19 on the Clock, your Tri-State High School and College Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pushkar. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Jackson McCarty. And Jackson, how are we doing this fine day?
We are, after a slightly chaotic start, doing good now.
Yeah.
We've got all of our ducks in a row. We're back for another episode. And while this morning might have been a little inconsistent, the Miami Redhawks remain consistent as ever, 28-0.
It's always a fun day when you say, have you been in the podcast room?
And everything is stacked up against the wall.
But we got it figured out.
We did, as you can see.
We love our creatives here at Fox 19.
Well, yeah, it's no harm, no foul. No. Everything works out. It was just you walk in and you see couches like linearly up against a wall in the room that you're supposed to be doing something in. 5 minutes later, and you're like, oh, hey.
And then you get them all moved.
Bit of a thing.
But Jackson, I'm excited. And you want to know why I'm excited?
Why are you excited, Brad?
It's because I feel that we now have definitive proof that higher-ups at the universities are listening to our ideas.
Okay.
Because you know how last week we discussed specifically discussed Sacramento State joining the MAC in football this next year. And one of the big things that we talked about is the tournaments in various locations, men's basketball going to the Bahamas, to Hawaii, things like that.
Yeah, setting up invitationals.
Exactly. Do you know what just got announced in this last week?
No.
Is the Paradise Invitational.
Ooh.
And it is going to be the University of Kentucky volleyball team heading out to Nassau, Bahamas. They're going to be joined by, and you may recognize these schools, Houston, Purdue, and SMU.
There you go.
Notably, the four teams who all came to Lexington for an invitational last year.
Yes.
Instead of playing it at home, playing it on the road. It's going to be September 11th through the 13th. I would imagine they're going to actually play all the teams in that invitational this year.
Yeah, if you're going to be there for 3 days, that works out kind of perfect to do that.
It really does, and you get the sun, and
literally.
the beach, and all the benefits of the Bahamas. But it was just it was one of those things where I was like, yes, we are right. Thank you for acknowledging us.
Yeah, and honestly, it's cool that the little collectives have started forming. Like it being the same four that came to Lexington. Like that's just really neat.
Well, and it's such a. I know that. Coach Skinner and Coach Shondell with Kentucky and Purdue have both been, coaching for decades at this point, know each other well. You have that relationship, and then you also will have just these are kind of the four top teams in a way, not the top of the top, but top options from the Big 12, the ACC, the Big 10, and the SEC to get that Power 4 representation across the board. I will be interested to see if we get more like this, if this kicks off that first wave and then more schools kind of following behind. I can't remember when the Broadway Block Party got announced last year that it was going to be in Nashville.
I'm not sure.
But I would imagine that's going to get probably somewhere in the early spring, late spring, early summer type deal. So all that we need next is football invitationals.
Yeah, well, and basketball.
Which I guess is bowl games, but...
well, yeah, but since you can only play one football game a week, that takes the wind out. So next basketball season would be the peak one that I want to see.
Sure.
Because, if we can get some, 3 or 4 different invitationals kind of in the middle of the season, almost like the NBA tournament type deal.
Would you want to see them in that? Because, right now they're basically the Thanksgiving break space.
Yes.
Would you want to see them more throughout all of November and, into December? Would you want to see it?
I wouldn't mind, 2 different invitational weeks. Mm-hmm. You get your one in late November, and then you do one in, mid to late December. Before your conference play starts.
I would even like to see it in the middle of conference play at some points. Because, the game with, I think it was Michigan and Duke this last weekend, I was like, that's a great matchup. Yeah. It's a great game to have going on.
I was kind of thinking of, an option of doing, whoever the highest performers are in your conference and non-con, but that's so much schedule fluidity and a nightmare to keep up with if you wanted to I mean,
that's just that's like the ACC Big Ten Challenge or something like that, where you go, we're gonna pair these up by standings.
Yeah,
so
which those are great.
Absolutely, those are great.
Yeah, do more of those, and that kind of just accomplishes what you're wanting anyways.
Accomplishes your goal there.
Yeah, but since we're already talking basketball, and since I've already alluded to it, 28-0, man.
28-0. I think they can do it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely they can.
Undefeated season all the way through.
Well, so let's see. So Western Michigan is next up.
It's Friday at 6 p.m.
They beat Western Michigan by 11 January 6th. Mm-hmm. And then they play OU, who they obviously just beat by 16.
They play Toledo in the middle at home.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be the last home game is Toledo coming to Millett Hall on March 3rd.
And they beat Toledo by 14.
Yes.
Like we've talked about the cardiac situation of this team as of recent, with the Buffalo game and was it UMass that had like a really close one? Yeah,
UMass was a 9-point win.
Late January, the 86-84
the 86-84 game. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Because that right there was like the peak stretch of where it was like, can you guys stop winning, like playing so close?
Well, and it was also like, why are you doing this at home?
Yeah, literally.
This is where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be going above and beyond. Stop it.
Yeah, like just get your act together.
I think that especially you have a 9-point win over UMass was the only non-double digit win since they beat Buffalo by 2 points in Buffalo. You had a 16-point win over Marshall in Ohio. 9 points over UMass, 14 over Bowling Green, and then 10 over Eastern Michigan.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that you can very easily close out this season undefeated. And we've been talking back and forth about what does it mean for the tournament. Mm-hmm. So right now in the net, they are 48th because they have no quad 1 wins. They have 1 quad 2, 9 quad 3, and 14 quad 4s, and that is also not counting 4 games. Notably.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, because when was this? Because it was through games 2 days ago. I don't know why the NCAA lies to me every time I pull up the net rankings, because they're never actually through the days that they tell me it is. Because we were talking about we were reading an article when we were starting off here about how like if they lose in the tournament, they might not actually get into it, or if they lose in the MAC tournament, they might not actually make it into the NCAA tournament. I think that's phooey.
Yeah, no, I think that
bunch of malarkey.
As we were talking about at the beginning, it would require multiple losses at this point.
I think it would require multiple losses, and it would need them to be bad.
Yeah,
very bad losses.
I think because there's 3 games left on the schedule before you hit the conference tournament. Mm-hmm. I think you could lose 2 of those and then a conference tournament game, and even if they were kind of close, you're probably out because of the fall apart.
I think if you lose to Western Michigan, it doesn't matter the score. That's a bad loss. I think that's going to impact you more.
Yeah.
You lose to Toledo or Ohio, that is a less bad loss, but not good. And I would want to see what the score was. Because if you lose on a buzzer beater 3-pointer,
like whatever.
Sure, but it's also like, why'd you let them get that close? Yeah. Things like that, which is the UMass case type thing. I'm fairly confident in the Redhawks at this point that you get an at-large even if you don't win the conference.
Yeah, I mean it's a final stretch to get through, whatever.
Which I think is also point. It's kind of sad for like a team like Akron, who's 23-5, and it's like they're just 61st. They're only 13 spots below Miami. Akron might not make it in.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
there's matter of fact, there's a pretty good chance they don't.
Yeah,
because they're gonna end up losing in the conference tournament probably.
I'm gonna look up my favorite group, Delphi Bracketology. I'm gonna look at what they've got because I know they've been working on that recently. That is Delphi High School in Northwest Indiana. and it is all student run, which is why I enjoy their work. They've got Miami, Ohio as an 11 seed playing in Portland against North Carolina, with like Gonzaga up there as well. I'm just trying to see. I'm assuming there's no other MACs that get in, because you have Ohio State, TCU, San Diego State, VCU as the first 4 out.
Okay.
And I think I know that Ohio State is definitely going to be that hard bubble team right now. And it doesn't help that so much of the Big Ten is playing
good basketball. Well, yeah, and the SEC's got kind of a similar deal again. Like, there's just a lot of talent, and it's going to be hard to leave, a 20-something win SEC or Big Ten school out for a 5-loss Akron school or 6.
No, absolutely not. I'm going to check ESPN and Joe Lunardi's as well. He's also got Ohio State as the first team out, New Mexico last team in, Duke number 1 overall. Where do you put moving Kentucky down? Interesting. Miami, Ohio, that 11. I think Miami's going to hold that 11 spot pretty hard.
But if they go through their tournament and whatever, they could get up to like a 9.
Say they go okay, so we say they go undefeated through the tournament.
Yep, and the rest of the regular season.
Yeah,
yeah.
You say go up to 9, or I think I think like ceiling is 10. Is a 10 seed.
I think 9, because I think obviously it would require a little bit of chaos in tournaments otherwise, but I do think 9 would be the ceiling. Okay. Because I think at a certain point, like, yes, I understand the net ratings and the whatever, but like you do have to be like, okay, this is an undefeated team. Like, let's at least,
it's that thing though where like I feel like at this point it's just mostly them going, well, they're gonna win the MAC,
right?
So they're gonna get in.
Yeah, and it's like, but what else what else matters?
But if they don't win the MAC, and then it's like, yeah, they are practically undefeated.
If I was them, I would rather be a 10. Because like we talked about last week, like avoiding the 1 is big.
Yes.
Because even if you can get through that 8-9 game, like that is one of the hardest spots to perform in the tournament. But yeah, if you could be a 10 seed, draw that 2 side, like that works out a lot better. I could see them putting it at a 9 so that there's like okay, have fun playing Duke or have fun playing whatever. And having that be a storyline for one of these big number 1 powerhouse teams that they want to inevitably win the tournament, be like, oh, well, they took out the last undefeated, you know what I mean, and kind of create that storyline there.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the one thing I still want to see from Miami is a little bit more on offense. You've got, six? Yeah, 6 guys who've been playing every game, or just about every game, that are in double digits average, and but like it's 14.6 is where you top out with Brant Byers and Peter Suter.
Yes,
and I would just want to get a little bit more out of that. You don't have it's everything's so spread around is the thing, that you don't have like the rebounding guy,
you're right,
the shooter, the distributor. Like it's just everybody's kind of contributing, which I mean is great for a team. But I think when you get into the tournament, you're going to be playing teams that are outside of the MAC. That's going to be the challenge. Yeah,
it's just going to very quickly become an issue of, okay, well, Suter has a bad night. Who can step up not only to fulfill what they've been doing, but to replace his output? You don't really have a whole lot of replacement level guys that can like step up above that, because if you do take Suter out of it, it's not like Byers is now all of a sudden a 20 points per game scorer. He probably goes up a point or two, and it just continues to get distributed across everybody else. Yeah. So yeah, having a lack of a takeover situation, which I would say Suter's probably the closest to it, I think that's could be detrimental, but I also think that it helps them so much in game plan, and helps them deflect so much from the opposing team's game plan, that I'm not gonna say I'm worried about it, but it's definitely something to note for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll keep an eye on where they end up coming out of that game against Ohio, and once the MAC tournament goes through. Because we're 2-3 weeks away from Selection Sunday? 2.5 weeks. Yes, the 14th.
Because it's
or the 15th.
It's right when I get back.
Yes.
From Florida.
And we'll have a fun early episode that week to get our brackets out. But yeah, that's it's what can you say about a team that's undefeated?
Right. Yeah. You're just kind of trying to either predict the inevitable or predict why it's not that inevitable. You know what I mean? And you can only do that for so many loops in a row.
Yeah. And again, Friday night against Western Michigan, the next game, 6 p.m. Next Tuesday, March 3rd, against Toledo, at home in Oxford, last home game of the year. And then they're going to be heading to Athens to play Ohio, March 6th, 9 p.m. And I do know that game is going to be on TV that you can watch because that is an exciting end to a season. I know it got moved up onto a better channel and things like that. So
yeah, people want to see if they can complete the run, and you're going to be able to.
And then the MAC tournament starts on the 12th. So.
Absolutely.
But that is what we've got for the college side. Let's talk a little bit about high school.
Yeah.
We're going to be seeing this Friday on Final Quarter.
Yeah.
I was about to call it Friday Night Lights. I was like, that's not it.
That's not quite. But it's similar vibes. Okay, so last week, districts started more so on the girls of Ohio basketball side. Now this week, I wanted to make sure that we could kind of look ahead to some of the games that we've got coming up this Friday night. More specifically, the games that you're going to be able to see, like you said, on the Final Quarter. So we've got 2 games that I want to talk about, but quickly I want to read you the headlines of the finish, how the Kentucky districts are going to finish out, the matchups that we could possibly see. We will be at each district championship game with District 32, 33, 34, 35. So in 32, Simon Kenton will play the winner of Walton Verona versus Grant County. That game is happening tonight. District 33, winner of Connor versus Cooper, will get the winner of Boone County versus Ryle. District 34 has the winner of Dixie Heights versus St. Henry and the winner of Ludlow and Lloyd. Then 35, winner of Covcath Holmes, Beechwood, Holy Cross.
Now, because we've talked about a lot of these teams
Yes.
In the past, do you want to guesstimate the matchups that we'll be seeing on Friday?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So 32, Simon Kenton.
That's locked in.
That's you mail that in.
Free pick.
Walton Verona, Grant County. I have not been able to see either of these, but I have heard more. I've heard more about Walton Verona this year, so I'm going to go with them.
Okay.
Cooper Connor. I'll take Cooper, and I'll take Ryle.
I was going to say
against Boone County.
That felt like the natural progression of that district, no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. Dixie Heights versus St. Henry. Give me Dixie. Yeah. And then Ludlow Lloyd taking Lloyd, Anthony Blacar. And then Covcath Holmes. Covcath has been the best team in the tri-state, I would argue. Beechwood, Holy Cross. Give me Holy Cross.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, those are pretty guttural. I'm sure that maybe an answer or two would have changed if I'd have sat down and really thought about it and looked at it. But hey.
Now, are these going to be because you said these games are happening tonight as we record tonight?
So a lot of those games to decide were tonight. So the day after the recording released. What? Like Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. Okay.
Yes.
I was making sure because I was saying because what we'll do is we will put up the matchups here on the video version.
We can do that. And so you can immediately tell how wrong I was.
Yeah. Or how right.
Exactly. But then
Jackson either has bragging rights or nothing to talk about.
And I won't even get to acknowledge it till next week. But all those games that you're seeing on your screen are going to be on Final Quarter. We're going to have a camera at every single one of them, so you don't have to worry about catching those. We've also got some stuff on the Ohio side. Their brackets are a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? They have come together as of right now to where we can actually talk about the games that you can expect.
They're a little
to see
more formed.
They're
a little
yeah.
more.
I said
finalized.
formed, and then I stopped in the middle because I thought there was supposed to be more to it.
Yeah.
All right, so we start with Norwood and Madeira, two teams I believe we have not talked about this year.
I don't believe we have. Yeah.
Which Norwood, I almost started to be like, all right, yeah, we need to whatever, but it's been a real tale of two halves for them. The Indians are 12-10, 56.8 points per game to 51.3 allowed. Their season started with a 9-2 record, ended going 3-8. So, real strong shift there. Interested to see if they can work their way out of it, because we have kind of a similar thing on the other side of the road too. In total, 34 rebounds, a little over 15 and a half steals a night. I've identified a couple things that they need to get cleaned up. A couple of things that I think functioned earlier in the year that maybe have tailed off. They've become more turnover prone, 21.5 per game, and then their offense kind of has to work inside because they're shooting 16.3% behind the arc. A good 3.9, and that percentage doesn't matter. But it goes to show you that they are not really driven by that. And if Madeira is going to win this, containing or pushing them outside is probably their best bet. The couple of scores you want to know about: Samir Bland, 13.6 points per game with 7.3 rebounds, and then LJ Cave has 10.3 points per game, also 7.3 rebounds. In the CHL representative, Madeira, they are 11-11, 45.8 points per game to 50 allowed. Sort of a similar issue, like I said, to Norwood. They started 5-0, or 5-1 rather. Their year has finished on a 1-5 run. So that parallel is there. Just it was more of a gradual progression to 500, and then at the end there, it kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 5-1. Started 5-1, finished 1-5. Somewhere in the middle went 5-5.
Right. So yeah, it's a very, very simple middle of the road there.
Balanced as all things should be.
Well, okay, calm down, Thanos. 25.5 rebounds, 7 steals. They can shoot the three a little bit, 29.7% behind the arc. Ben Reed, their leading scorer, 13.9 points per game, also the leading scorer in this entire game. Almost a 40% clip behind the arc. Eli Beck, his second, with 9.6 points per game. So, keys to watch. If the game's played inside, odds are Norwood won. If the game is won outside, it's probably Madeira.
I felt so dumb for a second because I was like, well, yeah, they're going to play inside. It's in a gym. What do you mean? Yes, if they're being held to inside of the arc.
Yes.
That would be more of a Norwood leaning game. We're doing great here, folks. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I mean, the biggest thing to me is that Norwood turnover rate.
Yeah,
it's
shocking. Egregious. It's egregious.
And it feels to me like Ben Reed's 3-point shooting is what is carrying the Madeira team rate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he was like a 2.5-ish per game, if I did my math right. Maybe a little less than that. So, like it's definitely helping. They're not like a crazy 3-point shooting team by any means. But they can.
But you're getting 14 points a game. You're putting up a couple of 3-pointers. You're getting the boards. You're getting the passes.
Yeah,
you're finding your open men. That's good. I think it will just come down to who can control the inside, because even if like you said, if they play it on the outside, like, you still have to get the rebounds of those missed shots.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it feels like Norwood is playing a little more bully ball, get those rebounds. I mean, you have two guys already averaging over 7 a game,
right? Compared
to about 4 a game from the leaders on the other side. And then you're also averaging nearly double the amount of steals. And if Madeira isn't a heavy forced turnover team, Norwood kind of gets a break from their biggest weakness.
Yeah, it's I would love to, since we haven't been like just at a ton of Norwood games this year, I would love to know how many of their turnovers are self-inflicted versus opponent forced. Mm-hmm. Is it bad ball handling in the sense that you just can't hold on to it, or in the sense that you're playing too wide that the defense can kind of pick it apart? I would love to know the answer to that. I don't offhand, but you're right. I think that 7 steals is a relatively low number for what we've seen at this time of the year for teams that are still alive, and that should allow a little bit of reprieve. They don't really get very many blocks either. 1.1 blocks per game by the Mustangs. So that leads me to believe that Norwood is going to be able to do their work inside, and I think that. I don't know what that is.
That's me.
Okay. I think that
I'm watching Norwood highlights. So
there you
I'm trying to see what's going on in these games.
I personally believe that this whole deal indicates to me that they are going to be able to beat Madeira because I think that they're just going to be a little bit more physical, and they don't have the natural limitations that usually face them just by the average defense forcing turnovers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all. I think it's fair. I probably lean Norwood, I think, in this game.
Yeah, that's the direction I'm going to go as well. And then this other game that I want to talk about, Brad, Turpin, I believe, has my favorite gym.
Okay.
I love Turpin's gym. I went there for Turpin Anderson earlier this year. Mm-hmm. I will give you those videos to play over the top of this because in that game I had a shot of where you could see the crowd. Basically, it's more of a tiered deal where like the students stand up in the rafters.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like there's no real floor level seating. It's more what's above you for the most part.
Oh, it's like this is going to be a reference that only I understand, but it's like the Logansport Berry Bowl in Northwest Indiana as well, because that's also one of my I understand why it's your favorite gym. It's that was my favorite gym too because you're down, everything's just like tight in the gym space, and then all the fans are up there watching down at you.
It rules. And I love that atmosphere. I had never gotten to go to a Turpin basketball game until this year, and so before we talked about their game against Woodward, I wanted to make sure that I got to shout that out because the Spartans have got it figured out when it comes to their gym.
Yes.
But we will lead off with
the
Woodward.
Bulldogs.
Yes, we're going to start with the Bulldogs here. 8-14, 59.2 points per game, 57.6 allowed. It is real weird to me that they have more points per game than allowed, and they are 6 games below 5. Or, they have 6 more losses than they do wins. That really messes with me. But I just wanted to point it out. 37.7 boards, 16.2 turnovers. They forced 12.5 steals, 3.1 blocks. So pretty close numbers there. They're 0.5 short, 0.6 short. What interests me about Woodward is that they actually have a pretty fleshed out offense. They've got a handful of guys that can make some noise. Bryce Lively, 16.8 points per game, 14 boards. Jesse Wallace along him, 11.3 points per game, 3 steals. And then Julian Golden, 11 points, 2.5 steals. That's a really fun trio.
A lot of times when you bring up a player that averages a double-double, it's because you're talking about a player that's like in a state watch list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like this is the first time you're bringing up Bryce Lively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't really think that I've talked about him much either. I think that they've just managed to fly right under that radar, and just be good, but not stand out too much.
Yeah.
They went 3-7 in the CMAC. They were the next to last team from the bottom, but they were still scoring 60 points and losing about 63.8 points allowed usually. Okay. So it's not like it was some big nasty split. It was just an unfortunate fall. How the chips fell every so often.
Yes.
I think Woodward is one of those teams that might be weirdly a team to watch. Yeah, the 8-14 record spooks me a little bit, but like it's a thing where it's like, oh no, I can have confidence in you, especially outside of the CMAC, to maybe get a couple of wins here.
It's one of those games. It's one of those tournament games that you go, oh well, this is going to be fun because I wanted to see this team play somebody different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, what I can also say, having been to Turpin, they know, or they can grab a hold of the momentum and things can really swing for them. They are also 8-14. They went 6-10 inside of what is a really tough ECC. We've talked ad nauseum about how good the ECC is this year.
Yep.
Non-con losses include LaSalle, who has they've been good. Moeller, who's been good. McNick and Western Brown. So like it's teams it's not like they were losing just random whatevers. Like they either lost to ECC teams or really good non-con games.
Yes.
51.5 points per game to 56.7 allowed. Not quite the rebounding team that they're going up against. 22.4 rebounds. They have 12 turnovers a game. Not quite getting the level of exchange on that either. 5.8 steals, 2 blocks. Much more sizable gap than what you had at Woodward. But they also have a collection of 3 players that I think could be really valuable. A couple of guys who can shoot the 3 ball. Gavin Hoffman, 14.7 points per game, 36.2 3-point percentage, 3.1 boards. Drew Arden, 13.4 points per game, 34.7 behind the arc. And then Ryan Duster is their third man there with 7.7 points per game. Kind of a similar deal. I think that Turpin is going to try to spread that defense out and drive in because Lively, Wallace, Galden, most of those guys operate from inside. The highest 3-point percentage is Jesse Wallace, 23.9 of those 3. So they're working inside. So you've just got you got to focus on spreading those guys out, trying to slow them down. Make sure that on defense you're also kind of wearing their energy out, so that way when they try to drive, it's less effective because they don't have that same amount of strength and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think Woodward just takes it low and slow against Turpin, and that would be their method to win.
Yeah, I kind of lean Woodward here.
I'm flip-flopping back and forth. I think that Turpin's schedule prepared them better.
I was looking at the ECC website, and their last game was against Winton Woods, mm-hmm. where they lost 67-39.
Yes.
But that's a team that we have talked about this year as a juggernaut in this area type thing.
Absolutely. And like going back through here, like they got to win against Elder. They got to win against Ross. Mm-hmm. They played really close to where I just lost the game. They beat West Claremont, who was a solid enough team.
West Claremont and Turpin both ended 6-10 in the conference.
That Anderson game, the one at Anderson,
mm-hmm.
was, I believe we had the highlights from that one as well. That one was a solid win. But yeah, like they've been able to battle out against the middle of the pack of the ECC.
Yeah.
And you just have to wonder, is Woodward better than the middle of the ECC? Because if they are, they're probably going to win. I personally am going to lean Turpin here.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. I think that they operate well as a team. They have been battle tested. Pulling 6 wins out of the ECC is like kind of impressive for a team that like not really any expectations on this year. So yeah, give me the Spartans here to win this one.
I'm gonna hold fast with the Bulldogs here.
Turpin not having an answer for Bryce Lively and his work down low does scare me because I don't think that they have an answer.
That is fair. That is fair.
But yeah, so obviously you'll be able to watch those games on Friday night, and then
Friday night on the Final Quarter.
Absolutely, and then in the meantime, Brad, where can they find us?
Well, that's the great thing. You can find us anywhere that you get your podcasts, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Podcasts, and more, under the Fox 19 Now Sports feed, where you get not only us on Thursdays and sometimes random other days, but also you get the Gold Standard, which is Joe Danneman and Charlie Goldsmith talking Bengals, Reds, FC, all that fun professional sports stuff across the Cincinnati area. And you can also find video versions of both of those on Fox 19 Now Plus, our free streaming app on Roku TV, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
There we go.
Did I mention it's free? And notably, Gold Standard is a live streaming show moving forward, starting this week.
But you will still be able to get the audio version.
You can always get the audio version on our audio feed, and then you can always find the recordings of those live streams are going to be available on through the Fox 19 Plus app, which is also where you can find us as well. And then, of course, the fox19now.com and on the Fox 19 YouTube page. There's so many ways to find us.
You have no excuse.
You have no excuse.
Zero.
You hear me?
But no, thank you all for joining us this week. We'll see you again next time.
Have a good one.